Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We are your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the 15th of June, 2018. We have a lot to bring you today. This is our normal weekly roundup where we kind of round off what has happened throughout the week. We did go live on Tuesday, or was it Monday? We gave them an extra day this week. But what we have not brought you is the IG report. We haven't brought you Tommy being moved to a maximum security prison. There's a lot that we have not yet brought to you, so stick around.
Yeah, we're going to break down this IG report because the very first initial offering, it was a little bit disappointing, but it's not disappointing.
Because the information within it is not disappointing. The conclusion, disappointing.
Yeah, but that's okay. We are in it to win it. The information itself is what we need to delve into. Right. Some of the highlights, one FBI agent said to another, don't worry, but Trump won't get elected, we'll stop him. That's bombshell right there. Comey used his private email, but investigated Hillary Clinton for the use of a private email to do official government business. There's a lot of little things in here, and people are up in arms. Love Twitter for this. I want to start with some good news. It's actually kind of, makes my stomach turn to even think about it or to report on it. But 2,300 suspected child sex offenders were arrested in a nationwide bus today.
What you're saying
yesterday,
is what turns your stomach is that there would even be 2,300. There are
2 days ago.
Millions.
Yeah.
But
yeah, exactly. So, it was called Operation Broken Heart. Wow. Very fitting name.
It is, yeah.
A raid carried out against suspected child sex traffickers netted more than 2,300 arrests across the U.S. The Justice Department announced Wednesday as the Attorney General vowed to strike back against these repugnant crimes. The 3-month operation, dubbed Broken Heart, ended in May. It was conducted by Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force in all 50 states, comprising more than 4,500 law enforcement agencies at all levels. No child should ever have to endure this abuse, says Jeff Sessions. And yet in recent years, certain forms of modern technology have facilitated the spread of child pornography and created greater incentives for this production. We at the Department of Justice are determined to strike back against these repugnant crimes. The Department of Justice said that 195 of those arrested were involved with producing the child pornography.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Or to have sexually abused children.
Do you know what has to happen? Y'all know what has to happen in order to produce it.
383 children were identified as children who had suffered from abuse. So these are children whose lives will be put on a different trajectory than what they were on just a few days ago. Yeah. So we're going to stick around because at the end we are going to play some songs. Specifically, I have a song for these kids because there's a lot of stuff that we cover in life. We cover the IG report and the corruption. But when that corruption is broken down into the microscopic level, you could say, the macro level is the Federal Reserve and what we see. But microscopically, what you see enabled is the abuse of people. And when we say abuse, people's lives are changed. And I know a lot of people will say, just get over it.
Right.
But you can't. People who suffer from PTSD will all know all too well that something breaks in your brain. And then when a situation comes up, you react in a way that you would not react if you had grown up healthy and whole. And so it takes time and love and in our humble opinion, Jesus to come in and heal that. So we're going to get to some of the other things here. I'm happy about this. I don't like to spend too much time on it because it's really hard. It's hard on the stomach. It's hard on the brain for sure. Tommy Robinson. This was huge. This is huge. It was all over the internet and all over Twitter and everybody. Alex Jones went live with Kaylin and his producer, manager. And we thought about going live talking about it, didn't we? We just didn't do it. Sorry. So at first, it was said that he was moved from a low security prison, which he was in a low security prison, to a maximum security prison. They don't have the same kind of maximum security that we have here, but still. one of the harshest prisons, with 71% Muslim. I tweeted that out. Raheem said it was
Raheem Kissim
from Breitbart, London. He said it was 1 in 5. Now he says it's 1 in 3, which is still relatively high when you consider the Muslim population in Britain, to have them overrepresented in a prison. Now, what was scary, Kaylin was able to speak to Tommy for a very brief time. Tommy was able to speak to his lawyers for a very brief time.
It's like 3 minutes he gets with his
exactly.
lawyers. It's like 1 minute he gets with his family, like every other day.
Yeah. And somehow someone knew. I'm going to see. Someone got to this imam that Tommy was being moved the day beforehand. Now, obviously, I'm playing telephone here, and they're playing telephone too.
Right. That's all we have at this point.
What we have heard was that an imam put a hit on him and knew he was being transferred. We do know this came from the top.
Right.
The top being the new Muslim Home Secretary in England that Theresa May just appointed because the chick had to resign for being too racist or whatever.
It makes no sense. Now, I understand you said their maximum security is not the same as our maximum security, but here's the thing. If it's the maximum security, you said that they have like a mat.
He gets one blue mat. That's
to sleep on. I mean, you guys, he violated his parole, which is the best way that I can describe it. I don't even think that he did. That's my humble opinion, but that's what they're accusing him of.
All right, so
you don't get sent to maximum security unless you're a child molester or a rapist or something.
So at first, his lawyers didn't want Alex Jones to have the information, didn't want it to go out there. Now the lawyers have released Kaylin to get the information out there. So we're getting this information out there. If you feel led, you can
write to Tommy.
You can. His family has authorized the Rebel to create a legal defense fund to pay for his lawyers. The Rebel. You may love them, you may hate them. And Kaylin got an argument and left the Rebel under bad circumstances.
Right.
But when push comes to shove, I have goosebumps. They're coming together.
Well, I don't know all the details here. That was tweeted 13 hours ago. Mm-hmm. And I was watching Chris Homan do a live stream earlier today. Mm-hmm. And Chris is under the impression, and you guys can go and watch that live stream, that Ezra is kind of doing an underhanded fundraising thing where he's kind of skimming off the top.
Sure he does. He always does, but it doesn't matter.
Some money will get to Tommy. For sure, for his legal defense. He's saying, I'm going to pay for his legal defense.
He's paying the lawyers.
That's huge.
To send money to the Rebel. I don't care. It's like, whatever, dude. I mean, go to Salvation Army if you think all your money gets taken to the, I don't care if Ezra's using it for his own. He's paying Tommy's lawyers. I don't care. Give them the money. Go, do it. So anyways, the Rebel TV to create a legal defense fund to pay for his lawyers. 100% of any surplus goes to Tommy's family.
Wow.
So, no, it's not. They're not skimming any off. 100% of any surplus from the lawyers will go to Tommy's family. Feel confident. I mean, Raheem, I trust Raheem tweeted this out. Ezra tweeted this out. It's pretty cool. I love this.
That's huge.
So, I want to see. I do know that one of our congressmen, people are really, people are taking this really seriously. And I'm going to try to get to some of these things because one MP, are the MPs in the European Parliament too? MEP, sorry. She got her mic shut off because she was talking about Tommy being moved. Wilders wants to have an assurance of Tommy's safety. He is not alone. This could have gone one of two directions. Yeah. And it's going...
Somebody had said earlier in the chat, and I was trying to find the comment, and I can't. Your thing just went out. But they were pretty much saying that... now I totally lost my train of thought because that thing...
Sorry.
I'll see if I can find the comment.
So it was Janice Atkinson. I'm going to see if I can find her video here.
Now that Tommy is so high profile, don't you think they will be accountable for his well-being and keep him protected? Wicked Psych said. Agreed.
Okay, here it is. Janice Atkinson on the European Parliament floor.
20,000 people attended a rally to free political prisoner Tommy Robinson, and those 20,000 people supported Brexit.
Thank you. Mrs. Atkinson, 1 minute.
You lot have better wake up. The world's moving on while you still sit there and discuss the same old thing month after month after month. Trump and Kim, let's celebrate it. Austria, Italy, Hungary, Poland, Slovenia. We're all moving on. Your regime has become more and more irrelevant. In London on Saturday, 20,000 people attended a rally to free political prisoner Tommy Robinson. And those 20,000 people supported Brexit. In May, another 10,000 people marched in support of free speech. They too support Brexit. 17.4 million people voted for Brexit. They still support Brexit. The majority of the people want the government to get on with Brexit. You people entertain UK Ramonas, the modern day devil, George Soros, a foreigner kicked out of his own country. An open borders billionaire who openly fights democracy. He openly pays MEPs to dance to his tune. You're all suffering from DDD, democracy deficit disorder. And that's why we're marching again in London on the 23rd of June. We want our country back. Don't cut me off.
No, you're going too fast.
Two now.
No, you're going... could I just ask, can you listen? Because I think we both speak English, so we can be very clear. What I was trying to do was help you communicate. You are going far too fast for the interpreter.
Yeah, but do you know, I'm not speaking to all of them in here. I'm speaking to the UK. I'm speaking to Mrs. May. I wasn't sent here to talk to any of you. I was sent here to defend the British people.
Can I just... Colleagues, please. Please, just a little bit of quiet,
Most of you understand English. English is the language of the world. English is the language of this parliament.
Okay, let's calm down. Let's calm down. Could I ask you, madam, to sit down with respect? And could I just say to you...
So she gets her mic.
So here's the thing, though. When it started out, she was told she had 1 minute.
Mm-hmm. So she's going fast, baby.
Right. So she did her 1 minute. So the fact that they cut her mic off isn't that big of a deal. She was going over her 1 minute. But the fact that this lady says, I'm trying to help you communicate what you're trying to say. No, you're trying to censor.
So I just love what she had to say.
Isn't she the one that played the Lauren Southern video as well?
Yeah. Yeah, she did. So everybody's tweeting this out. British MEP's microphone turned off in European Parliament for asking about what's going on with Tommy Robinson. She said that European Parliament for asking approved question about Tommy Robinson.
The concerns of the safety of British citizen Tommy Robinson. Whether you agree with Tommy Robinson or his actions outside that court, he was jailed and he was safely serving his sentence in Hull prison. Yesterday, he was moved by the British Conservatives into a jail which has a high number of Muslims inmates.
Then she gets a cut off.
Yeah. So that's a separate video. She's not wearing the same outfit there.
That is not a point of order.
That's not a point of order, even though she said she had an approved question on a citizen. So,
oh my gosh. El Chavez says, I'm praying for Tommy on the hour, every hour. And I don't know if I told you guys this or not, but Leah and I, when I found out that he was moved to this maximum security prison, I was just crushed. And I said to Leah, I said, I wish that Tommy had spent a little bit more time not just learning about this evil religion and how to expose it, which is great, but to build himself up in the power of God to be able to protect himself in these situations. And you know what Leah said to me? She said, Michelle, but that's okay because we can. You can. We can, in the power of prayer, protect Tommy from where we are at, wherever you are at right now.
Yeah, so Raheem also tweeted out, it has come to my attention that Tommy Robinson's prison file had all previous references to attacks on him and altercations during previous sentences removed. Was this intentional with the hope that he was put on general population and attacked?
Wow. That's crazy. So meaning, if they have all of that information, they should take that into consideration and say, you know what? He's not safe. Now, granted, anybody in there is going to know. They're going to know. If they don't know, their head is in the sand. But they don't have to act on it because it's not a fact. It's not in the file.
So, Congressman, Representative, Who is it? Who was it that did this? Paul Gosar. Expressing concern over the arrest and conviction of Tommy Robinson, June 11th, said, Mr. Speaker, I rise for the following purpose. I want to share my concern about the arrest and conviction of Tommy Robinson in Great Britain. I am well aware that England does not share our free speech values and does not have the equivalent of a First Amendment. Indeed, the restrictive practices of England led directly to the birth of this great nation and the freedom we enjoy here. Mr. Robinson, a British activist and journalist, was arrested and jailed for simply filming outside a public courtroom and was sentenced to 13 months for his crime. His real crime is not taking pictures. His real crime is his refusal to agree with the government's efforts to cover up crimes by Muslim gangs who are raping British girls, almost without impunity, and with little apparent regard to the British government. If this act violated a term of probation, it would mean the court system in England is a key part of the problem, covering up for criminals by imposing gag orders as terms of probation. Dissent is patriotic when the ruling class are illegitimate and oppressive. The ruling class in England appears fearful of the truth. When it bans discussion and when it criminalizes the truth, any such government can fairly be labeled as both oppressive and tyrannical. I object to the suppression of truth.
Wow.
So I wanted you to know that there are so many people speaking out, and keep speaking out, and please keep sharing links.
Now, Britt Baza says maximum security prison means that Tommy Robinson will be locked up 23 hours a day in solitary and get 1 hour exercise a day in a private yard.
Yeah, so why for filming outside? Like, he's not, that's where you put murderers and rapists and crazy people, not somebody who films. So this is absolutely insane. We need to get this out there. So everybody was waiting for the IG report to drop, I believe Wednesday and yesterday, and waiting for it to come out. And it's come out. We got a lot of great information coming out hourly, basically. And
if he just has a mat, he doesn't have a chair?
No, nothing. Just a blue mat on the floor.
That's inhumane.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
To not have someplace to sit. I mean, you guys try sitting. No, don't. Just on the floor. I mean, your butt's going to go numb.
So the New York... New York City office, I think it's New York City office, I don't know if it's New York State, New York City, they decided to investigate, like, Trump's charity. And they're doing it just to kind of, they split the news cycle on the IG report. But Donald Trump Jr. was on Tucker last night talking about the fact that they don't take any overhead. Him and his brother and his sister sit on a board and they decide where money's going to go, but that's it. They don't pay salaries. There's no salaries. No, none. So 100% of any money goes to charities, but with the Clintons, only 6.4 goes to charities, and 93.6 are expenses. Wow. So
that's crazy.
Let's go to Donald Trump's Twitter, because of course he's
before
been
you get
out.
there, because I want to get to some of these comments.
Please go ahead.
About Tommy. Let's see. Richard says, I do not know who Tommy is. I will have to play catch up. Yes, you will have to play catch up. He is a reporter in the UK who exposes the evils of the religion that shall not be named. Now, Amber says, I heard he is in general population, but it will only take one guard to open the cell. So, let me see. If the government, hang on, it's going too fast. If the government doesn't do anything about it, it's because they want it, says Redneck Survivalist. And it is true. It's absolutely true. With the protesting of the people, if the government doesn't, you know what I mean? If they don't do anything about this, it's because they intentionally put him there and they are wanting this to happen. All right, go ahead.
All right, so we're going to break down some of this IG report, but we're going to start with the president's Twitter feed himself. What does the president think about what's going on in the world, right? So now that I'm back from Singapore, where we had a great result with respect to North Korea, and yes, he saluted the general and it's a big deal and blah, 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 who cares? The thought process must sadly go back to the witch hunt, always remembering that there was no collusion, no obstruction of the fabricated, no crime.
Britt Baza says he does get a chair.
Good. Okay.
And a toilet.
Oh, good. That's always good. So the Democrats make up a phony crime, collusion with the Russians, pay a fortune to make the crime sound real, illegally leak Comey classified information so that a special counsel will be appointed, and then collude to make this pile of garbage take on life in fake news. He says the sleazy New York Democrats and their now disgraced and run out of town AG Eric Schneiderman are doing everything they can to sue me on a foundation that took in $18,800,000 and gave out to charity more money than it took in, $19,200,000.
He says, I won't settle this case.
Schneiderman, who ran the Clinton campaign in New York, never had the guts to bring this ridiculous case, which lingered in their office for almost 2 years. Now he resigned his office in disgrace, and his disciples brought it up when we would not settle. And here we go. Ready? IG report. FBI agent Peter Strzok, who headed the Clinton and Russia investigations, texted to his lover, Lisa Page, in the IG report that will stop candidate Trump from becoming president. Doesn't get any lower than that.
Wow.
By the way, Trump watches a lot of things. I'm going to, I don't know which one it is, but on the Drudge Report, which is...
Speaking of which, Trump's birthday.
Happy birthday to the president.
Wasn't that yesterday?
Yes.
And it's also Flag Day.
It was, yes.
Coincidentally.
So, speaking of the Trump watching the news, this I thought was kind of hilarious because Matt Drudge has this up now on his because...
They spent hundreds of millions of dollars on the approval. Not going to happen anymore.
I saw a headline on Drudge, I think this morning, unemployment at a 44-year low.
Yeah. Drudge is great, by the way. Matt Drudge is a great gentleman who really... I don't know, he's got an ability to capture the stories that people want to see, but that was the number one story on Drudge. 44-year low unemployment. They spent...
I love that the president goes to the Drudge now for Alex Jones in his, I would like them to know this, I don't know if this one came up. I think this might have been a link from the Drudge. The Drudge, Matt Drudge links to Alex Jones.
Yeah.
And I love it because he knows news, and he knows that whether you know it or not, whether people know it or not, Alex Jones's reporters are just as good.
Oh, absolutely.
As anybody else, from the Gateway Pundit, from Breitbart, from the Daily Caller, from CNN.
Oh, way better than that. Yeah.
Okay,
they
so
actually get to the truth.
they've got a lot of really great articles. Back to Donald Trump. The IG report is a total disaster for Comey, his minions, and sadly the FBI. Comey will now officially go down as the worst leader by far in the history of the FBI. I did a great service to the people in firing him. Good instincts.
Did he say good instincts?
Yeah, he says Christopher Wray will bring it proudly back. I doubt that, but okay.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Oh, see, we're going to talk about I'm not talking about soccer. Not going to do it. Please don't make me.
We will not.
If there's a terror attack, I will, but hopefully there won't be. Why in the world didn't Barack Obama fire this guy, Comey? Asked Mark Levin. So he tweets this out because he loves Jason.
Using his own Gmail, and so
it's unbelievable.
Hillary Clinton thinks that James Comey is the reason that she lost the election because he reopened the email investigation a few days before the election. Meanwhile, he's using his own Gmail, and so she tweeted yesterday. She tweeted, "But my emails." Yeah. She has a good point.
Yeah, she does have a point with that. All of this starts, though, because Hillary Clinton, on the very day that they started the Senate confirmation, just coincidentally, no intent, according to Comey, coincidentally sets up her own server. All of this goes back on Hillary Clinton. She's the one that started this whole chain of events, and she can only look to herself for screwing this up.
Oh, and Comey said that he didn't jump on the whole Wiener laptop thing because he didn't know that Huma Abedin and Wiener were married.
No, I thought it was that he didn't know that Strzok and Page were...
No, but he didn't look into the Wiener laptop.
Because he didn't know there was a conflict of interest.
Because he didn't know that Anthony Weiner was married to Huma Abedin.
So, at best, he is incompetent.
But he's lying.
At worst, he is incompetent and a liar.
Bill Clinton officiated their wedding.
Of course Comey knew. Of course. So he's a liar. He's not only incompetent, but he is a liar. And in this case, he thinks it's better to be incompetent than to be a liar.
Well, he let some things slide when he was on The View talking about McCabe and lying. We all kind of fudge the truth. We all kind of lie. He's still a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
The senior-most people that were at the beginning, at the front end of the Mueller investigation, some of them had to be pulled back But anything that Mueller is doing with this investigation is tainted by the fact that you had these people who had a political objective to take down Donald Trump. They documented in their interaction on text messages.
Anything Peter Strzok touched is contaminated, and he touched this investigation and overlapped, put himself right into the Russia investigation. Just because he kicked him out, it doesn't mean he didn't have an agenda.
The Russian investigation, you guys, there is no Russian investigation. Peter Strzok, he was the guy who pulled the strings. He said they didn't have enough resources to go after like the Huma Abedin Wiener laptop because they were too busy going after the Trump-Russia collusion, which is obviously an absolute lie.
562 pages of nothing but bias and animus. Every single one of those texts and emails is anti-Trump, pro-Hillary Clinton, and it demonstrates this widespread at the top level, not the rank and file, but at the top level, these people had a level of animus that we had never seen before. They definitely wanted Hillary Clinton to be president, and they wanted to stop Donald Trump.
You cannot like a certain candidate, but they literally were working to undermine him.
Horowitz were doing a very thorough report that wasn't leaked in advance, but this is one of the most damning rebukes of the FBI that I think we've ever seen, and an attack on their integrity and their objectivity. It really is sickening and disgusting at the approach that they took, and hopefully this is the beginning of fixing it, because it is a mess. Hats off to Michael Horowitz.
Doubt it, but... So, he tweets this out too. DOJ IG report finds that an FBI lawyer told a bureau employee, "Viva la resistance," after President Trump was elected. Is it making you rethink your commitment to the Trump administration? Heck no. Viva the resistance. Meaning, you're in the Trump administration now because you're an FBI agent.
Right.
No, I'm here. I'm staying here. I'm part of the resistance. I'm within. I think... I'm not even kidding.
The fact that the conclusion of the report, of the IG report, is that there wasn't proof that these FBI agents were allowing their bias to influence them.
What he was saying was that he couldn't pinpoint a specific action taken by them as a result.
Right. But, but what I'm saying is...
People are really mincing words here.
They are mincing words. This is proof of bias.
IG report Bombshell, anti-Trump FBI agent Peter Strzok texts his lover Lisa Page, "Will stop Trump from becoming president. Trump's not ever going to become president, right? Right?" Peter Strzok says, No, he won't. We will stop it.
And that's the biggest one that's been going around.
Jasper.
Here.
Yeah, so a couple other things that we're not going to go into great detail with.
Jasper.
Is that there's a lot of talk today over separating families. Sarah Sanders got hounded by reporters today, separating illegal immigrant families. The system's broken. The way this works is that, from what I understand, the children are supposed to be taken and placed in sponsor homes or something like that, and the parents do get detained. It's a really horrible situation. And then Paul Manafort, Trump's former employee, was on parole. He's now been jailed for witness tampering or something like that, and everybody's all up in arms. He says, I've had to beat 17 very talented people, including the Bush dynasty. Then I had to beat the Clinton dynasty, and now I have to beat the phony witch hunt and all the dishonest people covered in the IG report. And never forget the fake news media. It never ends. So now you have Donald Trump on it. Now let's go through some of these things. Deep State scrubbed Obama's name from the FBI report on Hillary's emails. So thanks to the release of the IG report on Thursday, we know that Barack Obama had direct contact with Clinton on the private email server. One of 13 names, it was Obama's name. Not even kidding you. From Fox News. President Obama was one of a select handful of individuals who had direct contact with Hillary Clinton on her private email account. Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz indicated in his Bombshell report Thursday on the Clinton email probe. In a footnote, the DOJ watchdog notes that the FBI analyst and the prosecutor told us that former President Barack Obama was one of the 13 individuals whom Clinton had direct contact using her ClintonEmail.com account. But the Obama DOJ hid this from the American public. In fact, the Obama Deep State scrubbed Obama's name from the FBI report on Hillary Clinton's email investigation. 100% Fed Up reported on this stunning revelation from the IG report. Scandal-free president had name scrubbed from James Comey's report on Hillary. Thanks for a Friday night news dump last September, we know that Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was emailed back and forth with President Obama using her private email address. We had known this, but now it's in the report.
I like how it says routed through her homebrew server.
Don't worry about national security, though. Obama used a pseudonym that not even Huma Abedin knew, so it was all very secure. That fact came up Thursday with the release of the OIG report, but with a new twist. According to the report, Clinton used her private email extensively while outside of the United States, including from the territory of sophisticated adversaries. But the fact that she was corresponding with the president was scrubbed from James Comey's exoneration.
That's huge.
He knew it.
Of course he knew.
So she's overseas. Anybody can get into anybody's email.
Right.
The idea of the secured email is so that you can't get into sensitive government things. If
Absolutely.
you're talking to the president,
yeah,
that can't be a thing. Like, seriously, like...
Well, hang on. We're talking about an official. A state official talking to the president of the United States.
Yeah.
It's not like Donald Trump calling up, some war hero's family, you know what I mean, on their cell phone. It's
Right.
not like, or shooting them an email. It's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about people that could be discussing.
Right.
They're not talking about, hey, do you want to come over for a barbecue?
So on June 25th, a June 25th draft added a sentence to a paragraph that summarized the factors that led the FBI to conclude that it was possible that hostile actors accessed former Secretary Clinton's private server. The new sentence stated, she also used her personal email extensively while outside of the United States, including from the territory of sophisticated adversaries. That use included an email exchange with the president while Secretary Clinton was on the territory of such an adversary. On June 30th, Rickaby circulated another version that changed the second sentence to remove the reference to the president, replacing it with another senior government official.
Mean the senior... They could have just said that, the senior government official.
The final version of the statement omitted this reference altogether and instead read, she also used her personal email extensively while outside of so here's the thing. Hillary was unbelievably reckless. Scrubbing the reference to Obama was an enormously consequential change. Sean Davis tweeted out, Obama knew about Hillary's secret email screen because she emailed him using her private address. But I have a video. I don't know if I have it up. There's you can watch it. We'll probably bring it up. We'll find it where Obama says, "I didn't." Oh, here we go. Obama lies on TV about Hillary Clinton's private email server.
Yeah, because he already said he didn't know that she had it.
Yeah, so President Barack Obama
We've seen this video several times.
An interview with Steve Croft in 60 Minutes in October 2015. Croft asked President Obama if he knew. So let's just go
President
over this.
Obama speaking out on 60 Minutes about Hillary Clinton's email controversy.
Did you know about Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server?
No.
While she was Secretary of State?
No.
Saying while it's been, in his words, ginned up for political gain, his former Secretary of State should have held herself to a higher standard.
It is important for her to answer these questions to the satisfaction of the American public, and they can make their own judgment. I can tell you that
I have complete confidence in her, what she says.
Can we just pause and take a moment and be like, he's not the president anymore.
Pray Lord.
He is not the president anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's
true.
a good feeling.
That is true.
It's a very good feeling.
All right, IG report shows James Comey committed criminal act obstruction of justice.
What he did was criminal. What he did was a terrible thing to the people. What he did was so bad in terms of our Constitution, in terms of the well-being of our country. What he did was horrible. Should he be locked up? Let somebody make a determination.
Tell us how you really feel. President Trump tearing into the former FBI Director James Comey today over the Bombshell IG report, calling Comey's actions criminal. Joining me now is Greg Jarrett, former defense attorney and a Fox News anchor, and Danny Colson, former Deputy Assistant Director of the FBI. Greg, let me start with you. Is the president right? Is there anything in there that's criminal?
Yes, it would be obstruction of justice. You can obstruct your own investigation. There's a key phrase in the report describing Comey's conduct. He made ad hoc decisions based on his personal views. In other words, he was manipulating the system, contorting the law, twisting the facts to reach a predetermined outcome.
Now that's from the IG report. The IG report basically slams Comey because he says that he was like caught in a 500-year flood and all these things happened. But what somebody else tweeted out or said was that, no, you actually caused it. Yeah. You caused the flood, and then you blame the flood for all of your mistakes. He deviated so far from FBI protocol that the OIG report says you did this out of your you made personal decisions.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to change an outcome.
Now, may I take this moment to point out something that you said to me in the car the other day about this? Before the IG report had come out, you were really excited. You're like, I'm so excited the IG report's coming out. And you said, here is the thing. We need to elect godly officials because guess what? Ain't nobody leaving their bias behind.
Right.
And so if you're going to have a bias, it might as well be a righteous man of God that has a bias that influences the laws and the rules of our country. Because it is next to impossible, especially without the power of God, to make a decision that you can say, I am not allowing my bias to influence the decision that I am making. He is married to a woman that supports Hillary Clinton wholeheartedly, who admits, I had friends that work for her campaign, and you're going to sit there and tell me.
Well, they marched in the Women's March.
That he can make actions. That's why we have people recuse themselves for having a bias. I can't be part of this because I may have a bias. The FBI director should be put through more scrutiny than somebody that's going to sit on a jury. Mm-hmm. And people get thrown off the jury for their aunt having had somebody do work on her air conditioner that was the brother of the cousin of the person that's convicted. Mm-hmm. I mean, seriously. And yet James Comey is allowed to just say, you know what? I sleep with a woman that loves Hillary Clinton more than God. And yet I can perform this job without having a bias.
He desired. That is arguably a corrupt act under the obstruction of justice statute, so the president makes a valid point.
Wow. Danny, let me ask you, a lot of what was revealed here has to do with those texts, and it wasn't just Peter Strzok. I mean, it was a lot of other officials. There's one that's unidentified. It just says FBI colleague. Trump supporters are all poor to middle class, uneducated, lazy POS. This doesn't make people feel good about the FBI, who's supposed to be out there enforcing the law and doing investigations. Here's how Director Wray proposes to fix things.
We're going to adhere to the appropriate disciplinary process. And once that process is complete, we won't hesitate to hold people accountable for their actions.
What do you think, Danny? Is that enough? Will that do the trick?
Well, first of all, this was never an FBI investigation to begin with. James Comey hijacked an investigation and took it into his own little office where he ran the investigation in an incompetent way and then made the prosecutive decision himself. So he controlled it from start to finish. I like what Director Wray had to say. He put separation between the FBI and this cabal of loose cannon crazy people and the FBI. The FBI had nothing to do with this case. It was taken away from the FBI and put into his office. The FBI never got a chance to investigate it. And remember, Watergate was run by field agents. Iran-Contra was run by field commanders, not by the director, and those came to a conclusion that was logical. This case was totally unlike that.
Greg, what do you think of that?
Well, I think it's absolutely correct. Look, James Comey surrounded himself purposely with people who, like Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, and Andrew McCabe, who were profoundly biased, and the IG report found persistent and pervasive levels of bias. And this is the important part, quote, a willingness to take official action to impact the presidential candidates' election prospects based on their bias. Could they prove absolutely with testimony and documents that they fixed it so Hillary Clinton would be absolved? Well, of course not. That would be confessing to a crime. You don't reduce it to writing. You don't confess it to the Inspector General. But the facts are sufficient and inexorable to reach that conclusion.
Danny, to restore
Yeah. IG report, FBI agents found Huma Abedin deleting classified Hillary emails from Yahoo account, but failed to subpoena her devices.
I love that she was using a Yahoo account, though.
Agents
like you
are
couldn't even have, I mean, no, but
like Gmail is the better.
Not just Gmail, it's not that hard to get your own email, like at Huma.com. I mean, you would think she would be at that level that, you know, you're not just, I mean, Yahoo of all people.
Was that part of that huge data breach?
David Steele, you know, Yahoo was all behind the David Steele, P-Gate thing. I mean, Yahoo was involved in that, so
on Thursday,
Yahoo, man.
Inspector General Michael Horowitz released his much-anticipated report. According to the Inspector General, FBI agents found Huma Abedin deleting classified
I love that they're making
Hillary
the same
Clinton
face
emails.
here.
I know. From her Yahoo account, but failed to subpoena her devices. Huma forwarded State Department passwords and classified emails to this Yahoo account before it was hacked by foreign agents, and the FBI didn't do anything. Let that sink in. In late December, the State Department released a portion of the documents found on pervert Anthony Weir's laptop.
Do you know how easy it is to hack an email account? I mean, how many times have you guys had to issue an email to friends like, hey, don't open that attachment, I got hacked?
At least 5 emails contain classified information. The FBI seized Wiener's laptop after he was caught, you know, sexting an underage teenage girl. It turns out that Hillary Clinton's aide Huma Abedin, forwarded sensitive State Department emails to all of her insecure Yahoo email accounts, which were later hacked by foreign actors. Among the foreign agents that hacked Huma's Yahoos were actually Russians. According to the Daily Caller, the 3 email accounts Abedin used were AbedinH at state.gov, Huma at clintonemail.com, and Huma Abedin at yahoo.com.
Oh my gosh. And you know what, though?
Huma Abedin at yahoo.com couldn't even use like a fake name or something. Like, if you're a foreign agent, what you're going to try to get into Hillary Clinton, you're going to try to get into her age, you're going to try to, that's what you're going to do. That's the first one you're going to try. And then you're going to try passwords. And things come up.
We all know that in some areas, Leah is the brains. Okay?
Not always.
Not always.
I don't mean to yawn.
When it comes to thinking things through on that sort of level, maybe I might be a little bit more prone. Leah does, though, have the knowledge to be like a secret agent, which if you're going to be Hillary Clinton's aide, you would think that you would have kind of a secret agent type prowess of knowledge to know that maybe Huma Abedin at yahoo.com is not where you want to be sending classified documents. And I'm here to tell you right now, the only reason that she is Hillary's aide is because she's dumber in a box of rocks.
Paul Sherry says, breaking, FBI agents found Abedin deleting classified and Clinton emails from her Yahoo account.
I believe that she literally did not know that was a no-no.
But failed to subpoena her devices. If they had, maybe they wouldn't have had to reopen the case in the 11th hour when the New York agents found work emails on the laptop she shared with her perv husband.
See, I don't think she's a spy. El Chavez says, I think Huma is a Saudi spy. Yes.
I do.
Okay, no, when I say spy, I mean like spy. I think, yeah, they can use stupid people as a patsy spy, right? I think I think spy, I think like Tom Cruise and MI6 and all that. She doesn't have the capability to be that kind of spy.
Her parents are like super Muslims.
No, she's in on it, but you know what I'm trying to say here.
Okay, here's the
thing.
She's
not an intelligent.
She is working
like
with
spy type person.
She's working with Hillary
She's a puppet.
Clinton.
She just does what everybody tells her to do, and she doesn't have a brain of her own.
The mid-year team did not obtain search warrants to examine the content of the emails in Mills or Aberdeen's private email accounts and did not seek to obtain any of the senior aides' personal devices. Remember, they were all given immunity. And you only get immunity, we talk about this, I don't want to go into this again, but you're only supposed to give immunity when you think you might lead to a conviction or something.
Yeah.
It's handing out immunity like crazy. From the IG report, the mid-year team did not obtain search warrants to examine the content of the emails in Mills or Aberdeen's private email accounts and did not seek to obtain any of the senior aides' personal devices. The Inspector General said, in assessing Strzok's decision to prioritize the Russia investigation, over following up on the mid-year related investigation, lead discovered on the Wiener laptop in October 2016. These text messages led us to conclude that we did not have confidence that Strzok's decision was free from bias. And that's the key there. It's kind of like a double negative. What you really mean to say is we think that this decision was definitely biased to do this. So willingness to take official action to impact the presidential candidate's electoral prospects. This is antithetical to the core values of the FBI and the Department of Justice. Moreover, as we describe in Chapter 9, in assessing Strzok's decision to prioritize the Russia investigation over following up on the mid-year related investigation lead discovered on the Wiener laptop in 2016, these text messages led us to conclude that we did not have confidence that Strzok's decision was free from bias.
Chavez and you're right, spy as in gathering information for her country. You're absolutely right. I'm just trying to say she's not intelligent.
There are glaring examples of bias all over this. Right here on page 421, the report says Strzok was so biased that the IG did not have confidence that Strzok's handling of the Wiener laptop at the end of the Clinton investigation was free from bias. That's a big deal. And then looks like Donald Trump had tweeted out about Huma Abedin back in January.
So here's the deal. The public has lost all confidence in the FBI, if anybody actually did. And I think some people did have confidence in the FBI. But what I find very ironic here is that our own FBI was conspiring against an elected president. And yet, they're investigating against a foreign country that ran some ads.
Bingo.
Against an elected president.
We had our own. What if, could we just call them the Russian FBI? That might help people.
I mean, seriously, if somebody in your own house is trying to tear down your house,
right,
you deal with that first before you go and deal with the people that are coming from another country coming into you trying to tear down your house.
Exactly. You're totally right. You hit the nail on the head.
Boom.
Right. So I was disappointed because it said it found no evidence to show that Comey's key decisions in the Clinton email investigation were improperly influenced by political bias. Paradoxically, the same report also raised swirling questions about the role of the FBI counterintelligence agents Peter Strzok, whose text with FBI lawyer Lisa Page, the IG found, suggested that he might be willing to take official action. We talked about that. While the IG does not fault the FBI for not charging Clinton, it did find that, not surprisingly, Comey used his personal email for official business. We talked about that, which was, quote, inconsistent with the DOJ policy statement.
So he's proving himself through these things to be a liar once again.
What was
and yet
Hillary
we're supposed
being
to take his
investigated
testimony as truth
for using a personal email account to conduct business? Well, there you have it. Comey was using his personal Gmail account.
What we're seeing with this
business.
IG report is protect the institution, protect the institution, protect the institution at all costs.
Right.
It doesn't matter what the public thinks. It doesn't matter if justice is done. The FBI must remain intact. The FBI must be allowed to continue to run its swamp creature practices. You protect the institution at all costs. This is the exact same thing that would happen with the Federal Reserve.
So the report also found that 5 FBI officials expressed hostility towards Donald Trump before his election, and says in the report that their actions are being referred to disciplinary actions, but not criminal. Furthermore, Andrew McCabe may want to get concerned because the DOJ Inspector General also has opened additional probes into leaks. The FBI General Counsel was concerned with potential Hatch Act violations by McCabe after he met with the Clinton operative Terry McAuliffe at the governor's mansion to raise money for his Democrat wife's campaign, as well as conflicts of interest concerning investigations. But as I reported earlier, and perhaps the most explosive one, there's this email exchange. Lisa Page says, Trump's never going to be president. In like the most girly, disgusting way possible to you're married, by the way. And so she's married and to somebody else. And she texts to her lover, "Oh, save me. Tell me Trump's not going to be president, right?" And he, Gallant Knight, steps in and says, "No, he's not. We'll stop it."
It's like a Monty Python thing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Now cue Leah's new Monty Python impersonation.
You never made the
Wasn't
clip.
that so great? I forgot. I'm going to have to go back and do that. I don't remember what video it was on. Oh, man. Somebody needs to help me remember what video that was on so I can redo Leah's Muslim Monty Python thing.
It was
It's going to get banned off of YouTube after it goes viral.
Just please do it. Yeah.
You're going to pay me money?
Yeah.
Because we have a shared bank account.
Let's do it. I'll make something.
You're going to have to do something better than that.
I'll do something. That text, the report says, was indicative of a biased state of mind. We'll stop it! How biased of you. Can we say criminal? Because I don't think bias is not what is going to come to my mind when I see "we'll stop it."
You know what? It's okay. It's totally the Gallant Knight if it's just some average American that says "we'll stop it," but when it's somebody that actually kind of holds some power to stop it,
remember he was
you're
the
not
one
really
who
allowed
interviewed.
to say that.
He's the one that was said on the interview with Mike Flynn. That's why Mike Flynn's under investigation. All these things. In another instance of bias, a lawyer on special counsel Mueller's team said, "I have never really liked the Republic anyway." Adding, "As I have initiated the destruction of the Republic, would you be so kind to have coffee with me?" So that's really weird. And then FBI employee on IG report, one day after election, all the people initially voting for her would not and were not swayed by any decision the FBI put out. Trump supporters are all poor to the middle class, uneducated, lazy POSs that think he'll magically grant them jobs for nothing. Then somebody else.
Is POS like piece of scum? Like, what is POS?
I don't know.
I don't know tech speak that well, but that's the only thing
So
that I can come up with.
here's an exchange between attorney 2 and employee. Attorney 2, "I am numb." Employee, "I can't stop crying." Attorney 2, "That makes me even more sad." Employee, "Look like what happened." Employee, "You promised me this wouldn't happen. You promised." I don't know who these people are. We don't know who these people are. And more affairs.
It's embarrassing.
Employee, "Okay, that might have been a lie. I'm very upset. Ha ha." Attorney 2, "I'm so stressed about what I could have done differently."
How is that not proof of intent to want to have done something?
Don't
to
stress.
stop it.
None of that mattered. The FBI's influence. I don't know. We broke the momentum. That is not so. So he's talking about Comey breaking, Clinton's thing. All the people who were initially voting for him. Blah, 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 blah.
Pieces of SHI. See how my mind doesn't even go there? What did I say, scum?
In other words, the second email probe into Clinton was only open days after the election because, as some had suggested, one or more of the
My
FBI...
ignorance and innocence is showing.
They only put out the... they only did the email probe was because there were agents that threatened to leak that the FBI was sitting on a potential trove of documents which incriminated Hillary, while both Strzok and McCabe try to keep it all under wraps. So there are good guys in the FBI trying to get things out. They're still trying to get things out. I do know that still there are FBI agents who are wanting to be subpoenaed so they can go before Congress and have their lawyers paid for. Where are they? According to the IG, the so-called mid-year team, the investigative unit that had handled the Clinton investigation, did not move to review the emails until just days before the end of the election, almost a month after the FBI officials in New York found them. Strzok told investigators at the time he was prioritizing the investigation into then candidate Donald Trump's campaign's ties to Russia. So that to me, if you believe in a fairy tale that there were ties to Russia, okay. But there is no tie. There are no ties to Russia. He didn't prioritize. He created it.
Right.
And that's why they have to go to jail.
Yes. So you can't create an investigation out of a fantasy that you have in your head.
Right.
That's not, you have to have some shred of evidence in order to move forward with an investigation. And there wasn't even a shred.
So, rather than talk about the IG report, everybody has suddenly decided to talk about immigration.
Right.
It's a thing. So this reporter gets up and starts screaming, "You're a parent, you're breaking kids apart." Sarah handles herself quite well here.
Handles
herself, yeah.
Get fixed. Jill.
She always handles herself.
Policy change from handling them as civil matters to criminal prosecution.
It's been already for people on that we were going to enforce the administration, but it is on ours. We're a country of law and order, and we're enforcing the law and protecting our borders. We would like to fix these loopholes, and if Democrats want to get serious about it instead of playing political games, they're welcome to come here and sit down with the president and actually do something about it. Jill.
Don't you have any empathy?
Jill, go ahead.
Come on, Sarah, you're a parent. Don't you have any empathy for what these people are going through? They have less than you do.
Guys,
Sarah, come on,
settle down.
Seriously.
I'm trying to be serious, but I'm not going to have you yell out of turn. Jill, please call.
It's a law, and they have.
Can't they
these
just like
people
put him in
have
cuffs and leave him
Hey,
out?
Ron, I know you want to get some more TV time, but that's not what this is about. If I want to recognize you, go ahead, Jill.
Honestly, answer the question. It's a serious question. These people have nothing. They come to the border with nothing.
Jill's a little culpable here because she's not standing up and asking her question. If I was Jill, I'd be like, all right, Sarah, I got my question.
For what they go through.
Jill, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Does the president really believe that Crimea is part of Russia because everyone there's...
So all this is like, instead of Russia, let's move to immigration because we don't want to talk about anything else. So President Trump put a reporter in place at the White House Friday after she asked about his meeting with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. So here we go.
About the circumstances that led to Otto Warmbier's death.
Yeah.
In the same breath, you're defending now Kim Jong-un's human rights records. How can you do that?
You know why? Because I don't want to see a nuclear weapon destroy you and your family.
Well, and by the way, you've declared
I don't want to see, because I don't want to see a nuclear weapon destroy you and your family. I want to have a good relationship with North Korea. I want to have a good relationship with many other countries. And what I've done, if you remember, if you're fair, which most of you aren't, but if you're fair, when I came in, people thought we were probably going to war with North Korea. If we did, quiet. If we did, millions of people would have been killed. I don't mean like 100, people saying 100,000. Seoul has 28 million people 30 miles off the border. You would have had 30, 40, 50 million people killed. Who knows what would have happened? I came in, that was what I inherited. I should have never inherited. That should have been solved long before I got there.
Okay.
I did a great job this week. The fake news said, oh, you met. The only thing they saw that I gave up. One broadcast said, he gave up so much. You know what I gave up? I met. We had great chemistry. He gave us a lot. You haven't had a missile test in 7 months. You haven't had a firing. You haven't had a nuclear test in 8.5 months. You haven't had missiles flying over Japan. He gave us the remains of our great heroes. I have had so many people begging me, parents and fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, wherever I went, could you please get the remains of my boy back? They're giving them back. Nobody thought that was possible. Wait, excuse me, wait. They're doing so much for us. And now, we're well on our way to get denuclearization. And the agreement says there will be total denuclearization. Nobody wants to report that. So the only thing I did was I met. I got along with him great. He is great. We have a great chemistry together. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. Mr. President.
Oh my gosh, dude. President Trump just put her in her place like she was a little child. He pointed his finger at her, but his answer was so telling. She said to him, I don't know if you could hear her, how can you ignore his human rights violations? Because I didn't want him to bomb you and your family or anyone in Seoul that has 48 million people.
Right. It's not the same thing as
it's
Obama
not
with
saying
Cuba.
I'm overlooking it and he's just a great guy. It's saying I have to overlook that to save the lives of 48 million people. And that's what presidents do.
Lesser of two evils, for sure.
Oh my gosh, that was so great. That was absolutely awesome.
Lindsey Graham says, if you don't like me working with President Trump, I don't give a blank.
Which everybody was like, Michelle, you watched it. We get what the POS is now. It's okay. I'm sorry
So
I
if
didn't
you don't
know.
like me working with President Trump to make the world a better place, I don't give a shit. So if you don't like...
He doesn't seem like the kind of guy. I mean, he looks like daggum Mr. Rodgers.
So,
which, by the way, I'm told that there's a documentary out about Mr. Rodgers that's quite uplifting.
Oh.
Yeah, and they showcase that he was a pastor.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, for Father's Day, maybe that's what you guys should go see.
Interesting. All right, so speaking of Father's Day, we won't be here Sunday at 1.
We're not coming. We won't be here. We have family that said, hey, can we come over Sunday at 1? And we do put family first here before Resistance Chicks. So we said, sure, you can come Sunday at 1. And my mom's like, they don't know y'all very well. We go live every Sunday at 1. My mom had that accent, but that was more fun to say the other way. But seriously, we will not be here Sunday at 1. I was thinking, like, couldn't we do it tomorrow at 1?
I don't know what we've got going on. I don't know.
Well, we were going to allow them to come tomorrow at 1 if they wanted.
I don't know what we've got going on.
Look at this, Leah saying, no, we're not going to do it. We got stuff to do.
I think we have some stuff in the afternoon we have to do. So we have to work.
Look at that code. I think we got some stuff. Tell them we got some stuff to do.
I think we do. For real.
So we won't be here this weekend.
Yeah.
Maybe on Monday.
Yeah, but it stinks. It stinks because everybody looks forward to seeing us. If we can do a little video beforehand, sure.
Maybe we'll do that.
We'll see.
To let people know, and then just to maybe give some stuff.
Maybe just sit down with the pigs and talk about
maybe that's what we'll do.
So, in light of that, I'm going to hit some European news while we're here tonight.
Okay.
Merkel on the brink in Germany facing mutiny over disastrous migrant policy.
Mutiny.
Merkel
Rise up in Germany.
Disagreed with sending migrants back to the border if they had already been registered somewhere on the asylum database or been previously deported. Angela Merkel is facing a potential mutiny over her mad, dangerous, open-door migration policy.
Can I use my German with this? Raus! Schnell! I learned that from Hogan's Heroes.
As this monster reported earlier this week, Interior Minister Horst Seehofer was due to unveil a 63-point migration master plan, which was kicked into the long grass after a falling out with the Chancellor. Merkel disagreed with sending migrants back to the border if they had already been registered somewhere on the asylum database or been previously deported. Seehofer wanted to reject such people at the border. He says, Peter Ruff says, I'm in Berlin and you can cut the tension with a knife. Merkel is on the brink at the moment. In fact, one foot is over the ledge and she is peering into the abyss. The AfD may be merely in opposition, but they're pressuring of the the Christian, something like that, CSU from the right, may lead to her end of her chancellorship.
Wow. So
this is the biggest story you're likely missing right now. Merkel is in an internal party crisis in Germany over migration and could lose a confidence vote this week. This was Friday, so I guess she didn't lose it this week. Her sister party, the CSU, of whom Seehofer is leader, will face state elections later this year, so are keen to hold on to as many seats as possible, which are being threatened by the AfD. Seehofer has been in talks with both Italy and Austria to form an axis of the willing to combat illegal immigration. Merkel is against the idea, given the fragility of her coalition. It wouldn't take many mutineers to topple her. Things are changing right across Europe. Another interesting thing in Germany is that somebody in one of these higher ups proposed an idea that they would ban political commentary shows that tend to lean right and anti-immigration on surrounding the time of any sort of elections and things like that. They're going to ban them for like a year.
So here's my thinking on this. I think that the people, any kind of people, will only play politically correct for so long until that political correctness starts to infringe upon their lives and their core beliefs.
That's true.
And so what my hope is this resurgence of sanity in Germany has not come too little, too late.
Yeah, so you've got the Austrian Chancellor received death threats after closing the mosques here.
Line against what he calls political Islam has seen the Austrian Chancellor on the receiving end of death threats. This all started after Kurz announced on Friday that 7 mosques would be shutting their doors, and as many as 60 imams were facing deportation. 6 of the mosques run by the Austrian Turkish Islamic Union are accused of having links to extremism, as well as being accused of harbouring hate preachers. One mosque run by the group in Vienna, well, it caused a stir back in April when pictures emerged of children as young as 4 years old, dressed in Turkish military uniforms and saluting the Turkish flag. Now, 60 imams are also having their residence permits reviewed. 2 of those have already been told that they have to leave the country. Kurz says he's sticking to promises he made while campaigning.
Parallel societies, political Islam and radicalization have no place in our country. The federal government is taking action against these undesirable developments.
The decision to close the mosques, which are accused of promoting Turkish nationalism, has been strongly criticised in Ankara, where President Erdogan has accused the Chancellor of fanning the flames of religious hate.
Your amateurish attitude could cost you dearly. You must know that closing a mosque in Austria and deporting religious men could start a new battle of the cross and the crescent, for which you will be responsible.
At just 31 years of age, Sebastian Kurz became Chancellor at the head of a coalition between his conservative Austrian People's Party and the right-wing Freedom Party. Now, immigration and Islam featured prominently in the campaign, and as we've seen from this latest move, continues to play a big part in the policy that they're enacting. However, since the Chancellor is receiving death threats, it does seem that this is a policy that isn't going down well with the whole of Austrian society.
But I like that he's going to stick to his guns. I don't think he's going to waver at all there. All right, you guys want to see this? Speaking of immigration, again, you've got Gerard Batten from UKIP giving an impassioned Farage-esque like speech in the European Parliament. Worth a look sent this to me.
Your policies have blighted the lives of millions of people. Meanwhile, our security is endangered because of the results of mass immigration. Under Mrs. Merkel's leadership, you have brought in millions of people from Africa, the Middle East and beyond, and you intend to bring in millions more. You have turned many parts of Europe into foreign countries. You use the emotional blackmail argument of talking about helping defenseless refugee families. And yet the reality is that the vast majority of these migrants are young men from Islamic countries. This is not immigration, this is invasion. Traditionally, Europe resisted Islamic invasion. Heroic struggles in the siege of Malta at the gates of Vienna have now been replaced by abject surrender. Islam offers 2 options: submit or resist. You have decided to surrender and submit on behalf of your citizens, but some states are resisting. Rebellion is now stirring in Hungary, Poland, the Czech Republic, Austria and elsewhere. The tide is turning against the EU. And best of all, we have Brexit, a modern peasants' revolt against their out-of-touch overlords. When Britain leaves the European Union, we can point the way for a Europe of independent, democratic nation-states. Most people want a Europe of genuine trade, friendship and cooperation. They do not want rule from Brussels.
That's so well said. And that really is, unfortunately, what the European Union doesn't understand is that they actually could have kept the people of the UK. There would not have been a vote for Brexit if they hadn't been trying to literally rule them in every area of their lives. They wanted cooperation. They wanted open trade. They kind of wanted open borders so they could go back and forth and work in different nations and things like that. All of these are kind of reasonable ideas. But to submit your sovereignty to unelected officials and groups and a group of people that was started, by Nazis, and seriously.
Geert Wilders wants Tommy Robinson's safety guaranteed.
Yes.
Dutch MP Geert Wilders asked his country's Prime Minister Mark Rutte questions concerning the situation of Tommy Robinson in the United Kingdom. Robinson was transferred this week to a prison with a large Muslim population, and his safety could be in danger. Wilders urged the Prime Minister to contact his UK colleague Theresa May to guarantee Robinson's safety. Are you prepared to contact your British colleague Theresa May immediately and ask her that she at least guarantee the personal safety of Thomas Robinson, who is globally supported by many? So there's a long list here, and I'm happy to see that. In honor of Father's Day, we wouldn't be Resistance Chicks unless we brought you a strange, weird, and odd story at the end of this show.
I have no idea.
Thanking
what's
all
coming.
fathers for being fathers. Good ones. Hopefully you're a good one. Hopefully you had a good one. If you didn't, I'm sorry. Go cry. Just kidding. So he gave birth. He breastfed. Now he wants his son to see him as a man. Now I'm going to redo this. She gave birth. She breastfed. She cut her chest off. And now she wants her son to see her as a man because she doesn't have a chest anymore. And she's taking hormone therapy to try to get a little bit testosterone-y. That's not how this works. That's really good. I thought of something. So
you just said that's really good. Your thought? You're just saying, my thought was just really good. I'm about to give it.
You can turn pork from a pork chop, a steak. You can turn it into a salami. Pastrami, is that? I don't know if that sounds porky. Sausage. You can turn it into a lot of things, but still pork.
Right.
This chick is a chick. You don't become male by putting a little testosterone in you and cutting your chest off. That's not how this works. Here's the thing. There's a lot of women who've been genitally mutilated. There's people in Africa who've had body parts chopped off. Doesn't make them male. It's actually, if a male gets their body part chopped off, it's called a eunuch. It's still a male. Just called a eunuch. We have piglets out there that we castrate, make some borrows. They're still males. That doesn't make them female. That's not how this works. The trick,
I think more or less, I'm kind of thinking of like these amazing cake makers that can make a cake look like anything. I mean, seriously, you be looking at that and it's like, that is a real bouquet of flowers. Those are real flowers. It doesn't make it a flower, it's still a cake. That would be where I would go. The meat reference, maybe not so much, but I can follow.
But most new dads didn't give birth to their child. They didn't breastfeed them, and they don't endure glares from strangers when they go shopping with their wife and their toddler son. The only reason you get stares, my friend, is because you all look funny together. That dude in a dress is large and out of place in our society, and that's why you're getting stares. Okay? There's a lot of females out there that look like men. People don't really stare at them. It's kind of like, sometimes unfortunately, some African Americans see race everywhere. You see people staring at you because you think that people know that you're transgender. No, y'all just look funny. And that's the thing. Why do people go to the circus?
That chick could pass for a dude, though.
At that angle. What?
My mom wanted me to flex.
No.
To showcase that I could look like a dude. Is that what you're trying to say, Mom?
But this, cutting your chest off doesn't make you a dude. It makes you look like you got your chest cut off. This, when you're talking to your son, who is biologically male, you're going to say, Mommy has mental issues. Mommy shouldn't be your mommy. Mommy should give you to foster care. Because I can say this without a shadow of a doubt, that if you think that you are the wrong gender in the wrong body, you're not okay. And actually, the psychiatric boards or whatever and the books all classified it as, it's called something. It's called,
I don't know,
gender dysmorphia.
Right. But we said this on a show a while ago. Let's give some people the benefit of the doubt that being a transgender is a real thing.
That's the man who says he's a she.
Okay. So why is it always that it's just a physical
change.
No issue. I was born a man and I am in a woman's body, and that's what it is. At least it's got to be like 50% chance that it's not that you're stuck in the wrong body, it's that your brain is messed up.
Right.
Because here's the thing.
You got to be like 50-50.
It kind of, you got to get another 25% in there.
I think it's 100-0.
No, I agree.
Let's go with
hang
50,
on, I'm not finished. Even if we could get somebody to come with me like halfway, okay, I could see that that's a thing. Let's go back to the 50% of people that are literally trapped in the wrong body. That's going to mess with your head, and that's going to make you crazy. At least 50% of those people. So y'all ain't sound-minded anyway you go.
It's like having an alien stuck in your body.
It is. Crazy people.
So here's kind of something.
Could you imagine? And we've all seen movies, right, where somebody's trapped in the wrong body. You're going to start going a little bit crazy. I mean, that's scary stuff.
I don't know where this video was taken, but Nigel Farage says, whatever you do, don't show this video to Emily Thornberry. I don't know who she is, but these people are quite patriotic.
Hey, look at that.
The whole apartment complex.
No way. That is fantastic.
Everyone in the apartment complex is patriotic, so.
That's awesome.
I thought you guys would find that
kind of
cool. I wish I could show that in my UK show. Speaking of UK, you want to go get what we got in the mail today?
Yeah.
I will leave up our little Washington. I'll shut down my computer. We got something in the mail today. Thank you to whoever sent this.
Now, I love you people that send stuff directly from wherever you ordered it because it saves on shipping. And I don't like that you are spending all this money on shipping.
I think it's awesome, yeah.
But that means we have no idea who this came from.
So is it one of our Swedish viewers send us this? Swedish Merchi, 30 minutes a day. We can learn Swedish.
Hear it, speak, and learn it.
Hear it, speak, and learn it. Well, why? I'm just already speaking Swedish when I speak it like it is, right?
Right.
So don't you think that the people in Sweden will understand me if I just speak it like it is?
Mm-hmm. Grammar and vocabulary taught together in everyday conversation. That's good.
That's good. So thank you to that.
Thank you, whoever. Here is the thing about the Swedish, though.
The Swedish.
Usually you learn a language from a country that you want to go to so you can communicate with the
people.
Scared,
man. I'm scared.
I'm scared. They all have all those no-go zones. They have all those militant feminists that, I mean, all of the men are turning into, they're not like Vikings anymore.
Viking spirit. The Viking spirit.
Emily Thornberry is a Labor MP.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so you want to get your guitar?
Yeah, guys. We don't know when. We'll see you on Sunday. What?
Leah, you're supposed to have an interpreter present when you speak in tongues.
Who said that?
Baker Mom.
That's funny.
She remembered that from last week. All right, Britt Baza says, Michelle, I'm going to send you some mail tomorrow. Is it going to be a UK, how to speak how to do the Cockney accent? Because, I mean, you need a whole thing to do Yorkshire.
You know what? I believe that would be something I could pick up. Because, like listening to that, you could pick up on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, I'm going to turn this camera here. So this is a brand new song that Leah wrote that last week I was like, are you sure you want to play that? Because it still is in the practice phase.
I was outside. I don't know what came to me.
The other day.
But Matt was getting, was his muffler hanging off?
His muffler
was hanging off. And was like, just get a little twine. Or get a little, not twine, but get a little baling wire. Go get a little baling wire. So around here, we use baling wire for everything. We use twine for everything else. And then we use duct tape to just kind of keep everything together.
I'm going to tell y'all a little tip. Do not use twine or duct tape to try to hold a muffler on. It gets a little hot.
Good idea. Good tip.
Do not do that.
And so this little ditty came to my head. And this is for all the homesteaders out there who, you know who you are.
Y'all know who
you know what you
Where's
do.
the rest of the song?
That's it.
Nuh-uh. There were more
We're
pages.
not doing that. We're not doing that part right there. Oh yeah, there's.
Because I need the words because I didn't write this.
There we go. That's it. I think that's it. Yeah.
And Leah's handwriting's like reading code.
I know. I need somebody to transpose all my stuff.
If you ever get a thank you card from Resistance Chicks, which I am way behind on doing that.
I do good. I go slow.
A lot of times it's Leah dictating to me. My handwriting's not that great either, but it's more legible than hers is.
I can do it.
It's a fancy.
I write shorthand for myself to understand.
That's kind of what it is. Yeah. But sometimes you can't even read your own.
That's right. So anyways, for all my homesteader friends out there who, jerry rig, I know it's probably a racist thing. I always heard jerry rig.
No, I think you're not supposed to say Jimmy rig.
Okay. Well, just try to make things work, right? No matter with whatever you have, make whatever you have work with whatever you have.
Gene Wallace says that landlord says he's going to evict if they don't take down the flags. But is he going to evict everybody?
Oh, that's hilarious. That's gonna go. He go broke pretty quick, huh? So, anyways, the chorus goes with a little baling wire and twine. You can be mine with a little duct tape. Hey, babe, we can do anything. It's just catchy.
It's really cute.
And then the other part says there's a simple answer to many things. All of life's problems, no matter how big it seems. Sometimes you can fix things with duct tape, baling wire, twine, or strings. And if that don't work, I'm just gonna get down on my knees.
String, string. String is
and because God can fix everything else. So all these little things, I know, we live our life in prayer daily, but there's little things we try to fix, and then it's like, dude, I got to pray about this. I got to ask the Lord about this, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what this song's about. It's called Duct Tape, Baling Wire, Twine, and String.
It kind of reminds me of the theory behind the appeal to heaven flag. When all else is exhausted, you're left with an appeal to heaven.
And life is also better when you're with people who will make things happen with a little duct tape, a little baling wire. It doesn't have to have things perfect. Just make things happen, right? With a little baling wire and twine, you can be mine. With a little duct tape, hey babe, we can fix anything. With a little duct tape, hey babe, we can fix anything. Scripture is our baling wire and twine. Everything's gonna be just fine. God is our duct tape, hey babe. Fix anything. God is our duct tape. Hey, babe, he can fix anything. There's a simple answer to many things. All of life's problems, no matter how big it seems. Duct tape. As long as you bring that super glue, and with the chainsaw landing at
pocket knife.
That twine's no good unless you got a pocket knife, baby.
Right, and I'm not going to open it up because it still has blood on it.
From a chicken head.
From a little chicken that I ran over with the chicken tractor dolly. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like more than half dead. And so we had to put it out of its misery. And so I had to pull it out. And I had to cut the chicken's head off.
It's really sad.
And it was really sad.
It's sad because...
And then I forgot to clean it.
It's sad because we want all of our animals to live out the fullness of their life. And when they go early, because we killed them early...
I actually realized that it wasn't clean when I went to open up a box of cookies, and I still used it anyway.
Nice. All right, so if you're still with me,
yep.
I can't see from here.
Oh, which one? What are we playing?
No, on the right.
Okay.
Okay. So this goes back to our very first story, the sex trafficking story, and many of you don't know. Matt was abused as a kid, and his family he doesn't have a problem talking about it. He wants to minister to people and get them set free. And when several years ago I was talking to him, I have she in this song, and I sang he, and it was just a really powerful moment. So whether you're a she or a he or confused about being a she, this song's for you, because we care about people who are, we do, when we make fun of the transgender couple, they're messed up, and we're going to pray for them. I'm not angry at them. I'm not upset at them. But something happened, I believe, to them, and it's just kind of messed up, and they need God to come in and heal them. So there's a part in the song which says, forgiveness does not mean retrusting. And in the church today, we have a lot of talk about, we've always had a lot of talk about forgiveness, and you do need to forgive. What the best thing for forgiveness is not holding that stuff in. Mm-hmm. It's not letting that anger or bitterness that you're carrying it, right? But doesn't mean that you retrust a person. Doesn't mean that you let those people back in your life. I've had friends who have been molested by their own fathers who have that father back in their life. No, you don't do that. That's not a thing, right? You never, ever, ever have to let that person back in your life again.
Right.
But you can get them out of the back of your brain and get the weight off of you, so you don't have to forever be angry. Because that anger means they still have power over you.
Exactly.
So, and only the Holy Spirit can help you to deal with that kind of stuff. So.
She was lying there, oh, sitting in her room, as the tears rolled down her cheeks. She was remembering the pain of yesteryears, and the thoughts made her oh so weak. She had to forgive, she had to let go. It's not happening now, and God won't let it happen again. No, honey, it's over, He won't let it happen again. She said, I need you, oh Lord, more than I need life itself. I need you, Lord, more than I need life itself. slave to your past. Those thoughts have got you bound. Open your heart, say I forgive, and watch the healing rush in. I need you, oh Lord, and I need life itself. I need you, oh Lord, and I need life itself. Hold me, love me, oh Jesus, in your arms of love. Hold me, love me, oh Jesus, in your arms of love. Hold me, love me, oh Jesus, in your arms of love. Hold me. I need you, and life itself.
That is one of Leah's older songs that never, ever, ever actually gets old. I could sing that song all the time. I could listen to it. It's very powerful. Very, very powerful. One thing that you guys may not know about Leah, and I actually just told this to a friend on the phone today. What do I know? Is Leah has an anointing through the power of the Holy Spirit to minister to people who have been molested. When we were in youth group and Leah was leading a lot of the youth there several times, there would be little girls, and I call them little girls, teenagers, and the Holy Spirit would speak to Leah and give her words about, specific words about how they had been molested or whatever and who it was and whatnot, and these girls would just break down crying, and how do you know this? And Leah would just say, the Lord told me, and he loves you, and he wants to heal it. And one girl was currently being molested at that moment. And so we were able to take that to the authorities. I don't know whatever happened to it, but the authorities were informed. So there's a lot of songs that she has that are kind of like that, just because there's an anointing there to minister to those people that have been broken in the most horrific way. So that's just to give you a little bit of a backstory.
I think it's because, I don't know, maybe since I was a kid, maybe my mom's instilled in me, whether justice. I'm all about justice. I'm not one of those Christians. Right? I'm not one of those Christians who's like, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to get dirty with it. I don't want to make it right. I want you to just like stay in a little box, just pray a little prayer and forgive that person. Honey, I figure we're marching down to the police station. Okay, we're making this right.
Chris Holman says Leah can minister to the victims and I will bury the perps.
And that is where real Christianity, that's where I feel like I love the Paul Joseph Watsons and even the Alex Joneses and the Mike Cernoviches and a lot of these people, you guys on here. Y'all aren't perfect Christians. You believe in Jesus or you believe in a higher power, you believe in God. But a lot of these churchy people, they get up every day. Unfortunately, they're so used to losing, they've given up fighting.
True. That's quotable.
And our founding fathers never gave up fighting for justice. Mm-hmm. And Jesus is all about justice. He came for justice, by the way. Okay? Perps need to be put behind bars. And guess what? That's called justice. And Jesus is about justice. And yeah, you can have justice with mercy. And that's what our that whole Forefathers Monument, our Pilgrim Founding Fathers, like, yeah, you have to have justice, but you have to have mercy with your justice. To
balance it out.
Right? And mercy takes a heart that can look into the perpetrator or the criminal and say, where you at right now, buddy?
Right.
Have you learned anything from this situation? Right? Like the non-violent drug offender woman who just got let go. Mercy says, she's fine. Get her out of prison. There's people that should be in prison that aren't, and there's people that are in prison that shouldn't be there.
Right.
So we're all about justice, and Christianity has to be, again, a revival of all these like misfit Christians who they cuss, they smoke, they drink. They don't look like real Christians, but I tell you what, God's looking at their heart saying, are you for justice? Okay? Are you for justice? They might not fit. They might not be able to walk through the front door of a church. And they certainly ain't going to be put in front of the pulpit, but they're going to be able to tell the difference between all this transgender mess and, same-sex marriage and all these different things. No, that's stupid. You know what I'm saying? That you can just see they might.
A lot of times it takes those kinds of people to be able to call out a charlatan, whereas the Christians are kind of like just accepting and they're easily.
So I don't mind the swear words. If our moderators want to knock some swear words comments out, that's cool. I don't mind them because I listened to a lot of those people marching for Tommy Robinson. They were for justice. They were maybe low-income, working-class people, but they were working hard. The UK takes all your money, the socialist country, and but they were swearing right and left and right, but their heart was right, okay? And so God looks at the heart. Here's the thing. God resists the proud.
But gives grace to the humble.
It doesn't matter if your language is swear words as you get into the... I want to see... I was telling Worth a Look, I want to see revival happening in the UK where once you get into the Word of God, He cleans you up. It's not like somebody from the outside says, stop doing smoking, cussing, and drinking. No. It's like, I'm getting close to Jesus and good things come out my mouth.
Right.
You know? And...
So I'm not going to tell this story, but when we were down in Florida after our bicycle trip, we ended up staying in the home of a prostitute who used the money that we paid her to stay at her house to go and buy crack. But felt that the power of God was there, and she kept going on and on and on, and she had a boyfriend that was there, and he was talking, and we were trying to whatever, I don't know, it's a very odd situation, and she kept yelling at him and say, shut the F up, they're talking about Jesus. It's that kind of thing where you have to use wisdom when somebody is using it ignorantly, and yet they mean well. So we're going to sign off here. Thank you guys for sticking with us for our Friday show and through the songs. We will be here next Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Sometime in the week.
But hopefully before then, like Leah said, we're not going to be here on Father's Day at 1. We may try to squeeze something in, either before or after our family is here. Possibly maybe even after, but our UK people hopefully before, because the reason why we do it at 1 is so y'all people be awake, right?
Yo.
So, thank you for being here. We have a P.O. Box 107, Milford, Ohio 45150. I am eager to get your letters.
Send us out to speak in other languages.
I want letters. That's what I want to get from you guys.
Send me your letters.
Send us your letters that we can read on air.
Yeah.
We love you. God loves you. God bless. Don't forget.
And pray for Tommy.
Pray for Tommy, and it's not just a conspiracy theory.
If it's the truth.
All right, you guys. Good evening, and God bless.
I was cold all alone. Your place